Hello and welcome back to another garden update. So today is December the 11th and it has been unseasonably hot, I would say, for the last few weeks. So it's been 76, 78 degrees every day, and at night, it's getting down to maybe 65, a couple nights as low as 60. It's been pretty ridiculous. So as a result, a lot of the mostly the lettuce has started to bolt and go to seed, like this one right here. I don't think there's no flowers in it yet, but that one will have them very soon. So I'll show you some of the others here in a few minutes. Luckily I've got some other lettuce that are younger, like this one, which should hopefully be fine as long as it actually gets cold soon, like it should. Maybe they'll last longer. So the Bok Choy over here, I'm about to start harvesting these because they're so big and they need to be harvested. Probably start with the middle one, and I mean that just one of those is going to be, a huge stir fry just by itself. I've eaten several of the Bok Choy from the other pots over there that are smaller than these three, and it's a lot when you harvest the whole plant. So I can't wait to try these. Some of these bottom leaves I've checked, they're like that thick. The stem on them, it's good, and when it's cooked, the stems are super tasty. Yeah, you can kind of see some of the stems there. They are thick and meaty and good, very good. Definitely love growing that bok choy. The other thing I love a lot is this arugula, which is basically like a weed. It grows so fast. I mean, I've been just picking and getting tons of them for salads and also stir fry, and they grow like crazy, super fast. I mean, they grow so fast I can't even eat them all before some of them start to yellow like this one. So I mean, I did plant a lot of them, so there's also that. But like look at this one. This one is just huge, and it's got more coming up, tons and tons of leaves coming up here. So I really do like the arugula. They add a really, really good flavor to salads, especially. They're good in stir fry too, but salad is definitely where it's at for the arugula. Carrots are still, coming along. They've still got until January, I think, is the 120-day mark, sometime in early to mid-January. So they've still got a ways. I've checked them, some of the bigger ones, and they still aren't really poking out yet. So I know they've got at least another month. And then, the poor little spinach, who knows if I'll ever get even one spinach leaf to eat this season, but that's how it goes. Not very good luck with the spinach this year. So that's that bed. So far, pest-wise on this bed in particular, it hasn't been too terrible. We've had caterpillars, of course, and those types coming in here, but they're still not as bad over here as they are in all, the rest over here, which I'm about to show you. So this is the garlic that I planted, and it was supposed to get first frost by now, and it hasn't. So I think they'll still be okay, but they're definitely gotten bigger than they were supposed to before they got frosted out. So and here's this lettuce. If it looks like it got hit by a tornado, well, that's because of this weather we've had. Bad line of storms come through, so much worse further north, but I mean, we still got some heavy winds and stuff. So this lettuce got decimated a little bit, which I'm not too worried, because you see how tall they are. These were all going to seed because of the heat, the excess heat that we've had. It's just been crazy. So these were all super tall, and that's why they got blown over so bad. And this one, you can see it's the same way. It has a bunch of tall ones. So like all the lettuce has started going to seed, and so I've been eating lettuce like crazy, trying to eat it all, or at least eat the tall ones. They're the ones that are getting super tall first. Kamatsuna, doing great. It can tolerate that heat a little bit better. The leaves do wilt easier just because of how big they are, because I mean, it's a big leaf, so they're giant leaves, but they seem to not freak out as much, just like the lettuce does when it comes to the warmer weather. Same with the bok choy. I know those are more for a tropical environment as well, so they're kind of okay in the heat. The biggest problem that I'm having now are the aphids and the bugs, because it has not gotten cold this year. It's been unseasonably both hot and humid, rainy, nonstop. The bugs have just been atrocious the last few weeks, like really, really bad. And so like nothing, a lot of things aren't looking that great. But I mean, there's still plenty edible. You know, they've got a bunch of chew marks in them, and some of the plants just look awful. But I've been harvesting here and there. You know, like I harvest a whole one out of there, a whole one out of there, another whole one out of these two. So I'm still getting plenty to eat from these. But yeah, it's just disappointing when you got so many aphids. Yeah, here's some right here. You can kind of see them. I looked them up, and it's a type of, it's like a gray cabbage aphid is what it's called, and they're more active in the fall and winter time. So I think even if it was cold, these particular ones would still be here. It's more so the caterpillars, which are really devastating because they eat a lot. Those should have been gone by now, and they're not because of the warm and humid weather. So what I've been doing with these aphids is I'll make a solution of 1/2 teaspoon neem oil, about 7 drops of Dawn dish soap, and 20 ounces of water, and I'll mix all that in a spray bottle, and then you spray it. And it does kill them on contact, and it works really well. The problem is that they live in the soil underneath, so they'll come back the next day or the next couple days, and then they'll just be swarming again. So let's see if I can find some over here. So these are hit pretty bad too with the aphids, and I've like I said, I've been hitting them with neem oil constantly to try to get them down. But you can kind of see them, all those gray specks that you see there, those are aphids. And then up here you can see them in those leaves. So they are everywhere in all these. They're in the mustards, every single one of these mustards. They're in the kale. So far I haven't noticed them in the lettuce, so I don't think they like the lettuce, but they are classified as a cabbage aphid. So these, you know, the Kamatsuna and the mustard and the Bok Choy are all, you know, hardier leaves, so I think that's what they prefer. But I mean, the good thing about it is that it's still plenty edible. Like, they'll all be on these leaves. You just rinse it off whenever you go to eat it, and it's perfectly fine. So it's more of a big nuisance than anything. But you can kind of see them. They're all in this one. Here they are, like pouring out of the bottom of this pot, and they're all in that one. So, you know, it's one of those things that I've kind of learned a little bit about growing a lot of this stuff for the first time. So far they're not over here too bad in the kale. I have seen them in the kale, but they're not as swarming as they are over here in the Kamatsuna and the lettuce, or the mustard, I mean. So we'll just keep an eye on it and see how it goes. So for the kale, I mean, it's looking fantastic. I should probably go ahead and start eating some of it soon. I've just been trying to eat the lettuce like crazy before they go bad, because there's so many of them going to seed. So, and I've got a lot of them to eat, which is a good thing. I do like lettuce, so. But you can kind of see on this kale here where those stupid caterpillars, and you know, they can be on there for 30 minutes and do that much damage. Like, if you, like, they will do a lot of damage very quickly. So you've got to be vigilant, come out here and look at quite often to make sure that you don't see any, or if you do see them, get them off of there. Basil, you know, it should have been the end of the season for it already, because it should have been cold, but it's still here because it's still warm. So for now, that's still doing okay. Parsley is doing great. The radish bucket, I'm gonna clean that out, pull all those out, because this one, which kind of went to seed, but then it just didn't do anything. So I'm not waiting on those anymore. Those have just been sitting for months, and I'm tired of having that pot be useless. So that one's going away very soon. These radishes are they're not doing a whole lot. I don't know. They're not going super fast. I don't know what the deal is with them. These are kind of going a little bit quicker, but they seem to just be taking their time. Not 100% 100% sure why or what's going on there. See, like this one, super small. I mean, these were all planted at the same time, so they've got some in that pot that are just, 10 times as big as that one. So I don't know what the deal is there. And then we've got peppers coming back because, again, hot, humid, not cold. So we've got a bunch of peppers coming back on these plants. And this one, which is surprisingly, I know I'm going to jinx it, but it hasn't broken yet. And there's not really any way I can further support this branch. It's just, that pepper is the biggest bell pepper I've ever seen. It is so big. So I can understand why the branch is straining, but I don't want to pick it. I really want it to go to red. But that's why I'm kind of letting it stay on there as long as possible. So we'll see if the branch can survive another few days. You can kind of see the if it'll focus on it, the corking of the pepper. So I mean, it's plenty ripe to eat and pick right now. It's just I'd prefer it to get just a little red, but who knows. And in the next couple of days I may go ahead and pick it and get it off of there, so I can start putting some more energy into these others, because it's got a bunch of other ones on here. Maybe get all those going before the true end of the season actually happens. But anyways, that's the long update for today. I've got most of my seeds picked out for the spring, and I'm probably going to go ahead and order them here in the next couple weeks. So I've got a very good idea what I'm going to grow in the spring. I'm not going to have quite this much. This is a little too much. I went a little overboard. It's just too much to eat for one person. So there's been a lot that's kind of just gone bad. Like you can see all these yellow leaves, which over here it's even worse. It's just because I can't get to them fast enough to eat them. So, but yeah, next spring I plan on having this whole bed full, of course, and that's going to be a bunch of pepper plants, basil, and maybe a few other herbs and things like that in that raised bed. And then we'll have a bunch of pots of stuff over here again. And then I'm going to also grow a bunch of different flowers and things like that, which are going to go in my other gardens out front, which I will show in the springtime when all that happens. But anyways, that's the update for today. Thank you for watching, and catch you next time.